The media has to be internal. But there have also to be signs so that we can differentiate between a divine message and a non-divine psychic process. Right? Thank you. Now the last question. Who is going to ask the last question? No, there is still, how many minutes to go? 5 minutes? Or 10?
Depends on the question.
Depend on the questions and also the answers, I suppose. Now, before I turn to you, I would like a lady, I thought some lady was interested in asking.
You heard from the E section.
It was a continuation of that question on Injil.
What?
On Injil, the lady was saying that she wanted to ask whether Acts and Romans are also part of Injil. Would we consider them as part of Injil or not?
They are not called Gospels, are they?
No.
So, they're not in jail. Right. They are letters written by certain so-called holy people or real holy people to some non-descript people. You know, the address is to someone who could be anyone. It may be a name or just a description. So we don't know who received those letters or whether ever those letters were written to a specific person or not. Only I think, I'm inclined to believe that they were used as instruments of propagation for anyone. So they were like preaching attempts, scholarly writings, or proliferation of people into Christianity. But they are not Gospels. Yes, please. Yes, please. Please lift him to a chair, and some interpreter should also reach him, because generally I fail to understand his question and I accept defeat before he starts asking.
Are we allowed to celebrate birthdays, and if not, are we allowed to receive presents?
The second part I understand. The first part is what?
Are we
allowed to receive what?
And if not, are we allowed to receive presents?
During your birthday or otherwise? In relation to your birthday or otherwise, what do you mean by presents? Just presents or birthday presents?
Birthday
presents. We do not celebrate birthdays. In fact, the history of man proves this beyond a shadow of doubt, that never birthdays were celebrated by any prophet of God or those who followed him. But birthdays have always been related to the idols, to the imaginary gods. Birthdays were celebrated in Greece, in relation to the birth of some imaginary Greek gods, mythological creations. Birthdays were also celebrated with regard to Zeus, to Sol, the sun god, etc., in Italy. And in all other parts of the world, birthdays have been in the past celebrated with relation to some imaginary fake gods. That we know. So it's not a good example to follow. For us, the example of prophets is good and well, enough. So Ahmadis don't celebrate birthdays, because then they will be imitating the wrong people and the imaginary gods. We don't want to do that. Okay? Thank you. And no presents, please. In relation to birthday, I mean. Now the question, the last one from you, please.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
So my question is not about killing people, it's about the birth of Jesus. So long time ago I read a book about the birth of Jesus. It was written by probably Mr. Ahmed who belongs to another Lahore Jamaat. And the argument was so strong at that time that I didn't know that Lahore Jamaat were different. That I was convinced that I started believing that Jesus was not born by the Spirit of God.
Do you remember?
Hadhrat Isa alayhi salam.
Of course, he was not born of the Spirit of God. We all agree.
Right. But that's the problem. Sometimes I find very difficult.
You see, the Holy Quran is so clear and specific on this that Jesus was born while no man had touched Mary.
Right.
You see?
Yes.
So what do you call it? A miraculous birth or a normal birth when husband and wife meet and they produce children? The Holy Quran positively speaks of Mary being virgin while no man had touched. And the incident is described not that of marriage, but of an angel appearing to Mary, telling her that I have brought the glad tidings to you of a special son who will be gifted to you by Allah. It will be a very special thing. And the Mary answered, I seek Allah's protection from you. Because that angel appeared in the form of a very charming and very attractive human being, perfect human being. So Mary must have read some ulterior motive or intention in that glad tidings. So she responded, I am not an unchaste woman, nor ever was my mother, or those from whom I have descended. So I seek protection of Allah from you. How can I bear child when no man has touched me? The answer was, Kazalik. It is Allah's will. It will happen just like this. So after that, how on earth can you conceive Mary to have delivered a child with the aid of a man? I don't see what more powerful arguments you found in that book than the one I have presented to you now.
Okay, so believing this, when we believe this, then find very difficult when we talk to Christians that they say that because Jesus' birth was sort of miracle,
yes.
So it's an advantage over the others, over human being. So
no, that is not the case at all. According to the Bible, the Old Testament, there is one verse quoted particularly in this regard by Jewish scholars, which say that the meaning of this verse is that Adam was hermaphrodite. He was provided by God with both the sexes, and that is how he gave birth to Eve. So this question has been agitating them as well. How could Adam, being a male, give birth to Eve? Although the scholarly among them, of course, did understand that he couldn't have been carved, Eve couldn't have been carved out of the rib of Adam, like common people believe. So in answer to this, they must have been searching here and there. Some scholars have reached that particular verse, and I have got the record with me of that, but I don't remember exactly the reference. They say this verse means Adam was hermaphrodite. And the Holy Quran reminds us, those who doubt the virgin birth,